The music industry is worth billions of dollars. So why is it that so many artists can barely make a living? It's a really frustrating question, right? Especially when you hear your favorite song playing in a coffee shop and you just know the artist probably isn't seeing a single cent from it. Well, today we're going to crack open that mystery. We're going to look at a high-tech solution that promises to finally get artists paid for their work.
So where is all that money disappearing to? To really get it, we need to dive into this massive problem that creators are facing. It's a problem so big, it actually has a name: the music black box.
And you gotta remember, at the end of the day, this is a human story. This quote just nails it. The whole system is crippled, leaving artists unpaid. For so many musicians and songwriters, the system isn't just a little broken. It's actively stopping them from earning a living from their passion. And the sheer scale of this problem? It's honestly mind-boggling. Take a market like Indonesia, for example. It's estimated that a whopping 90% of commercial users, we're talking cafes, karaoke bars, you name it, just don't pay the royalties they're supposed to. That's insane. It means 9 out of every 10 places playing music are doing it without paying the people who actually made it. And that brings us to the black box itself. Now, this isn't a real box, of course. Think of it more like a giant, murky pool of money. These are royalties that should be going to artists, but because the data is a total mess, it's missing, it's wrong, it's conflicting, the collection agencies have no idea who to pay. So the money just sits there, lost in the system, completely unreachable.
Okay, so how on earth did we end up with this billion-dollar mess? To figure that out, we've got to rewind a bit and look at how this royalty system came to be in the first place. It's a story of good intentions just getting buried under layers and layers of complexity.
What's so wild is that technology has always moved way faster than the paperwork. Back in the 70s, cassettes made it super easy to copy music, but payment deals were just handshakes, nothing was written down. Then, boom, international labels show up. Then digital music, then indie artists exploding everywhere, and finally, streaming. Each new wave just added another tangled layer of complexity onto a system that was already broken. And you can see the financial gap this creates in the real world. In 2023, the official collecting agency in Indonesia managed to pull in about $3.5 million in royalties. But even the most conservative estimates say the actual potential is more like $10 million. That's millions and millions of dollars just vanishing for artists every single year. The official numbers tell the exact same story. Out of $66 million in total music revenue, a tiny, and I mean tiny, 1% comes from performance rights. That's the money from every single cafe, hotel, and karaoke bar. It just goes to show how little of that value ever finds its way back to the creators. Now, there is a central organization, the LMKN, that's supposed to handle all this. But here's the core issue. It's a technology problem. They don't have a single, unified system to track what song is being played, where it's being played, and when. Without that basic data, trying to pay the right people accurately is pretty much impossible. Okay, but what if you could just toss out the old system and build a new one from scratch? One actually designed for today's digital world. Well, that's where our story takes a really interesting turn, because we're going to look at a potential fix powered by blockchain. And this really signals the shift from the old, chaotic mess to a new, clean blueprint. The whole idea is to replace that confusing web of middlemen with the clarity and trust of a decentralized network, one that isn't owned or controlled by any single company. To put it simply, the plan is to create one single master list, a digital ledger that everyone can see but nobody can change. Every time a song gets played in a bar or a cafe, it gets logged on this list instantly. No more guessing, no more estimates, just the facts. And this right here is the promise. By using something called smart contracts, which are basically just self-executing agreements written in code, the system can automatically calculate and pay out royalties right then and there. The ultimate goal? To completely drain that black box, making sure every single play is accounted for and every artist gets paid. So that all sounds great in theory, but how would it actually work in the real world, inside a karaoke bar or a restaurant? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down the mechanics. This system is called Sonic, and it works using 3 different kinds of nodes, which are really just different devices on the network. First, you have anchor nodes. This is professional hardware installed in venues to capture really precise data. Second, there are integrated nodes, which is just software you can install on existing systems, making it super easy to scale up. And third, and this is pretty cool, there's the Stealth Node. It's a mobile app for fans, so you could help verify a song play and even earn rewards for it. And all of this together creates something called proof of usage. This is the real game changer. Instead of just trusting a venue to report what they played, this system creates a permanent digital proof that a specific song was played at a specific time in a specific place. And that proof is what automatically triggers the royalty payment. Now, I know this looks complicated, but the main takeaway is that the system is designed to be incredibly robust. It pulls in data from all those different nodes, it verifies it, and then it locks it onto the blockchain. The end result is that single, trusted, automated record for every single time a song is played. Of course, a system like this brings up some big questions, like what about privacy? What about fraud? Well, it's designed with some key safeguards built right in. First, privacy is huge. It never records the actual audio, just encrypted data about the song. Second, it uses GPS to make sure the data is coming from a real commercial location. And finally, to stop people from cheating, venue owners have to put up a financial stake, skin in the game, which they'll lose if they try to trick the system. So let's say the system actually works. What's the real potential here? What could this actually mean for artists and for the industry as a whole? The financial prize is pretty significant. The total market for these kinds of royalties is estimated at around $14 million. Realistically, a system like this could service a market worth about $9.6 million. And to start, they're aiming to collect $2.4 million. No matter how you slice it, that's a massive improvement over what's being collected now. But for the artist, the end goal is nothing short of revolutionary. It's about changing a slow, confusing process into something that's instant and totally transparent. Just imagine this. Your song gets played in a club somewhere, and minutes, not months, minutes later, that royalty payment shows up directly in your digital wallet. That's the future this whole thing is trying to build. And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. The technology, it's brilliant. It offers a way to have perfect, transparent tracking. But the root of the problem is that 90% of businesses just aren't paying. So can a really smart, elegant piece of code actually fix a deep-seated culture? That is the billion-dollar question that's still left to be answered.